Welcome to Africa, the second largest continent on Earth in terms of both land area and population. It stretches over 30 million square kilometers. It is home to 54 recognized nations, numerous languages, cultures, and ecosystems. Vast and diverse, Africa is known for many things. The one of the world's longest river, the Nile, which flows through multiple countries like Egypt and Sudan. The world's largest hot desert, the Sahara Desert, which covers over 9 million square kilometers. The tallest freestanding mountain in the world, Mount Kilimanjaro, located in Tanzania. Africa has the most number of mountain gorillas, one of the world's most endangered species. The continent is rich in natural resources like gold, diamond, copper, and oil. It is home to savannas, rainforests, and wetlands. The continent is incredibly biodiverse. About 2,000 distinct languages are spoken across the continent. Africa takes up a significant amount of space on the planet. It does not take away from the planet as much as other nations do, and yet it bears the brunt of the damage caused by developed countries. China is the world's largest greenhouse gas emitter, followed by the United States, India, Russia, Japan, Germany, South Korea, Iran, Canada, and Saudi Arabia. Africa only accounts for about 2 to 3% of greenhouse gas emissions, but it suffers the most by its impact. Climate change has led to droughts and water scarcity. These phenomena have become more frequent than ever. Ethiopia, Somalia, parts of Kenya, and South Madagascar have faced acute droughts. Climate change is making floods more frequent. Floods also lead to displacement of people and loss of crops. Another impact is rising temperature. High temperatures can lead to heat wave. It can aggravate water scarcity issues. The year 2021 was one of the warmest years on record for Africa. The continent is also facing rising sea levels. Coastal areas in Africa are likely to face erosion. By the year 2030, more than 100 million people in Africa are likely to be exposed to the risk of rising sea level. Climate change can have health impact as well. Changing weather patterns can create an environment conducive for waterborne and heat-related illnesses. Apart from this, there are economic implications of climate change as well. The United Nations released a report in 2022. It estimated that Africa loses about $7 to $15 billion annually because of climate change. In order to navigate through the crisis, African nations need to raise about $124 billion annually. But so far, it has only received $28 billion. That is only a fraction of the money required. Africa is descending into catastrophe. An attempt was made this month to highlight the worsening crisis. The Africa Climate Summit was held in Kenya's Nairobi. The focus was on Africa's increasing exposure to climate change. The aim was to hold rich nations accountable.
We want a fair financial system that treats everybody equally. Ladies and gentlemen, that is not too much to ask. A fair international financial architecture is not a fair proposition or an unfair proposition to make.
Climate financing. This was the most thrown around term. Hundreds of millions of dollars of investment was announced. The United States vowed to contribute $30 million. But is this all that's required? Our country is going to pour all this money into an empty vessel. Kenyan President William Ruto was hailed abroad as Africa's climate champion. But leaders in Africa are at odds over what this summit really wished to achieve. Nations including Kenya, Ethiopia, Egypt and South Africa are expanding their renewable energy access. After all, Africa has it in abundance. But there are other nations including Nigeria and Senegal with large oil and natural gas reserves. These nations want to use their resources for economic growth. Moreover, Ruto is facing criticism at home. This is because of his take on the issue of logging. Ruto's government favors chopping down commercial forests. While it may have some benefits, environmentalists say that the step would go against tree planting campaign and it is likely to make droughts worse. Several groups have accused the West of hijacking the summit. They said the pro-West agenda is being pushed at the expense of Africa. This is also an example of why climate summits fail. Diplomats arrive in their private jets. They set agendas and make promises only to circle back years later. We do not know what lies in store for Africa. Their leaders are reading different books, forget about the same page. In this push and pull, the future of over 1.3 billion people is at stake.